right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Abhi DhiYogi with a few songs, stories, and ideas for today's curation. On success in failures, be it the pursuits of life or the pursuits of love. Or even pursuits of light. And all these pursuits, each one to their own. How can we find success, especially in the failures? So as you ponder on that topic, I'll start with a song. There you go. Great start. With you, without you, all I ever do is cry, cry. With you, without you, all I ever do is cry. When you said that you love me, friend, it took me a while to realize what happened. When you said that you hate me, friend, it took me a while to understand. With you, without you, all I ever do is cry. Thank you. So in our pursuits of life, such as, this singing and curation that we are a part of today. As you noted, I started off by making a mistake. Where I hadn't caught the chord, my fingers, right? They were not in the right place. And so it sounded out of tune. But that's the way life is, I guess. If I were to broaden the scope, we make mistakes. So does everyone. And we're very quick to judge. This happened, that happened, or this person did this or that. And that's why, there's failure or hurt or something negative that we are facing, or I'm facing. Very easy for me to do that. To point a finger. So if I didn't hold the chord properly as I began, I can easily say, yeah, there was some sound on the background and something happened outside, so that's why I didn't hold the chord properly and I was out of tune to kickstart the curation. Very easy. And very natural. Nothing wrong with it. I guess everyone does it. But I have a spectator, just as a heads up. The little yellow bird. Baby bird. Comes and sits here on the branches. One of these days I'll try to move the camera in time so that you may see it too. But as I was saying, very easy to blame others or blame something for the failure or negative that has happened. Another approach to look at that failure or something negative, another perspective, if I may say, would be to state whatever may be the reason that I point my finger to. Bottom line, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So yes, pointing a finger to someone or something for whatever negative has happened, all natural. But maybe later, 5 minutes later, or 5 hours later, or 5 days later, or 5 months later, if I were to reflect and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I should pay more attention to what I'm doing. Learn to pay more attention. Be more attentive. Is another way of looking at a failure. And when we look at it from that perspective, what we can do to improve for the next opportunity, that lesson comes to the forefront. Otherwise, that lesson was drowning in our blame games. But if I were to look at a situation where someone else may be pointing a finger at me and saying, it's because of you, this happened, that happened, be it at home, work, or school, and I become defensive, right? All said and done, right? If if I look at the situation and say, okay, this happened and that happened, I did this and so did others do this, okay. But rather than being defensive about the failure and taking the blame, we could say, I agree there is room for improvement in each one of us. And let's start with me. I should have done A, B, and C, right? Even better than what I did. And I'll keep that in mind for the next time. Similarly, others too. What do you believe that you could change or improve upon for the next opportunity? And as soon as the discussion becomes, or the context of the discussion becomes, what I can do to have a better result in the future, be it individually or be it in a team environment, in our pursuits of life. And everyone else also starts thinking in that direction. We realize the lesson that was getting drowned and now comes to the surface for all of us to see. And we learn from that lesson. And that, my friend, is the success and failure in our pursuits of life. How about a song? You may have one of those days when you may have all your friends, but still you may feel a little blue, my friend. Call me then, when you know I'll be there to take away, all your blues and the pain. You may have one of those days when you may have all the rain, or when you may need a little bit of that human touch, friend. Call me then, I'll be there to take away, yeah, all the rain and the pain. Won't you smile? Won't you smile? Won't you smile? Smile for me. Don't you cry? Won't you cry? Won't you cry? Cry for me. You may have all those beautiful days. That came out a little bit. So as we start looking for the lesson in any result that might happen, especially at work or school, right? Which is easier compared to the personal, I would say, challenges or hurdles we face at home, because there's a lot of emotions involved. So starting with school or professional or at work and outside, when we face results that may not be per our expectation or are negative, it's natural to be defensive. But if we move forward to the discussion of what I can do, what each one of us can do, and improve upon for the next time, we start seeing the lesson in that failure or the success in that failure. Because the lesson in itself is the success. Because without the failure, you would have, or we would have never learned the lesson or developed the practice of looking at the lesson in every result. And as we take that practice, if I may say, to the matters of the heart, be it at home or with a loved one, where we get into, discussions per se or arguments. I did this and you didn't do this. Or you never listen. Or you're not considerate. Or you don't love me no more. Various things that might have happened. For us to come to that conclusion, where the other person was inconsiderate or other people were inconsiderate towards our feelings and our gesture or what we did or towards what we had told. They were inconsiderate. It's a normal, situation in most of the relationships, that it happens once in a while or sometimes more frequently. And it's natural to be sad and defensive and argumentative, whatever we may say. So I gave the example yesterday that, our better half may bring some flowers home I might be too busy to even acknowledge the good and loving gesture and not even notice it. Thus causing the hurt or challenge or hurt in the relationship. And it's natural for the other person who did the kind gesture to be defensive and angry and frustrated, and they might express it. And we might get defensive. Well, you did the same. Don't you remember? Months back or weeks back or years back, or when we were small children, because when we are defensive, the whole history comes to support us. And something very small snowballs into something very big. But if we sit down, maybe after things have calmed down, or maybe a week after that, and look at what happened. What can I do better? We come to realize the person, let's say, who didn't acknowledge the kind gesture, as that person, I can say, hey, you know what? I need to be more attentive, especially to all the kind gestures. If not, to something random. But I was ignorant towards this person who did something very nice for me. And the other person who got the flowers could look at the discussion and what transpired as a negative experience, which was supposed to be a positive, right? Maybe I should have just asked, hey, how come you didn't pay any attention to this kind gesture? While I was expecting, a natural thank you. And this person might have been preoccupied with something that was happening at work or something else. Not an excuse, but from my end, rather than just expecting, which is natural in a relationship, the basics. Maybe I should improve to express my frustration so that I can learn to be more accepting. So one person learning to be more attentive, and the other person learning to be more accepting. And as we have come to know, life is like a seesaw, one's up, one's down. But it evens out and balances eventually. And this effort to be attentive or accepting helps us to balance as well as open up in our expressions. Whether we are angry, happy, whatnot, helps us. This practice of trying to learn the lesson in every failure, right? Applied to the personal challenges, enables us to look at the emotional side of, every situation, where being attentive to someone or something kind or whatever might have happened, or accepting whatever may have happened, versus being prejudgmental and the history coming forth to support our judgment. This effort or practice of being attentive and accepting helps us to balance, open up, and in doing so, the relationships start getting better, because we might say, do, think, when something goes wrong in a particular relationship, to blame the other. But on reflection, be it 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 months later, if we realize, well, that happened, but what can I do to be more attentive or more accepting? It opens us to receive the kind gestures, or sometimes the rude gestures that we may have preconceived or prejudged as soon as they happened. It helps us to accept even those rude gestures and communicate, express in a manner that helps each other grow and connect in love. And take the baby steps towards becoming one. How about a song?
Your love, oh love, my love, your love, oh love, for smiles, tears, hopes, fears, all are born from this love. and all that's lost, friend. Everything is meant too much one day into love. Thank you. So our pursuits of love, be it at home, or even at work, love what we do, yeah, as they say. We tend to get a better modicum and understanding when we try to learn the lesson in every failure when things go wrong. And that lesson is for us, for me, each one, to realize, to become better than who we were yesterday, be it at work or home. That is what every failure brings to the table. The lesson to help each one of us. The one who sees it and adapts it or learns from it grows. But the one who doesn't see it and who's busy blaming, this or that or this person or that person, never sees the lesson, and the opportunity to grow passes by. So after all the defensive arguments, if we can reflect upon where each one of us can improve based on what has happened, we take the baby step towards doing everything that we're doing with love, in love, and for love. Because we find ourselves a little bit more open and expressive and accepting. When we are looking for the lesson in every result that will help us grow and improve. We're a little bit more balanced, with that practice of trying to learn the lesson. And in that state of existence, if I may say, whatever we pursue, whatever step we take, is with love, in love, and it's in the direction of love. Where we see our relationships bloom to the best they can be. Where we see our words, thoughts, and actions bloom to the best that they can be. Because they're filled with love. And the anger, frustration, expectations, defensiveness, history, all of those things, right, are natural. They're part and parcel of life. But all of them come and we may act on them, say things that we may regret later, do things that we may not be proud of, think things that
we might say, how can I ever think like that? All natural. But as long as we accept, hey, you know what? Something happened and all these things happened. But the next time, at least, I should learn to be more accepting. Maybe pay more attention. Maybe be more centered and balanced. And in doing so, we head towards love. Doing everything with love. Because we're not there to blame someone or blame this or that. We're just looking at things that happen and whatever people say and whatever we are going through as an opportunity to learn the lesson that will help us grow. And where that practice led me recently was an aha moment. Where I was looking up at the sky, seeing the stars glitter. And suddenly this idea came that each one that I know who came into my life is a star. A star that glitters. Sharing either what to or what not to. Either one, right? Everyone and everything teaches us either what to or what not to. What to say, what not to say. What to do or what not to do. What to think and what not to think. Each person. So in the state of acceptance and expression and being balanced and trying to see the lesson, the perspective that I can say I gained, that may be a wrong term, but I guess that's the word, was that every person, every friend, every family member, every stranger is a star in my life, glittering, sharing their light, so that I can take my next step in the darkness. And when that next step is in the direction of love, this light radiates through me as well, so that it helps someone else take their step in the direction of love. So we're all like the stars, sharing our light for each other, to each other, with each other in this darkness. So it helps each other to take those steps. And I call it yoga, this yoga of glittering or radiating light to help each other. Helps us to realize a little bit about the source of this light. The sun, I guess, to keep it simple, which helps each star to glitter as well. or shine, the source of light. Yeah, let's call it the sun. Science may disagree, etc. Right? Why are you calling it the sun? Blah blah blah. So I hope, you understand what I'm trying to say. The source of light. We tend to realize a little bit on what that may be or that is. And when day breaks and the sun shines, we realize all the stars have become one in that light. The darkness has gone. So this yoga of radiating the light within helps us to realize the light that shines and makes us all one. The source of the light from which each star is born. And in that realization, where everything and everyone becomes one, I tend to see a little bit clearly on the lesson in every failure. And with that lesson, and trying to learn that lesson, I tend to be a little bit more open and accepting and attentive, taking those steps in the direction of love, to realize everyone and everything is a star glittering in the sky, so I can take those baby steps towards love. As long as those steps are in the direction of love, I see the light also radiating through me, so others can take the baby steps towards love. And one day the sun shines, and I realize the source of this light, this love, this life is one, from which everyone and everything comes. And that brings a smile to my face, a little bit peace, a little bit of love, a little bit of truth, to help me take the next step. And just to end this conversation on the contrary note, when someone or something happens that is negative, that hurts us because they bump into us or step on our toes or say something, do something, with this realization, we see that they're all stars in the dark. And sometimes in the dark, we bump into each other. So be it. Even I would, and I do. So be it. But what can I learn after I bump into each other, or we bump into each other? If we look at that lesson, it helps us to take the next step in the direction of the love. Making us realize the light, how it is radiating, and the source of it all. And with those baby steps, what blooms from each one of the stars is light, love, life. Thank you for being here. Hope to catch you tomorrow at 12 noon CST at abhi.dhiyogi.org. Or you may also read the books and listen to the past concerts or watch at the same link, abhi.dhiyogi.org. Thank you.